It's a topic that has always been around Errorgrid since its inception in 2020, because at the height of the pandemic, I too was struggling with mental darkness, but also saw that the darkness in the world was progressing faster than ever due to the development, the global development. I think when the world went quiet, when people were forced to spend more time with themselves, they were also more exposed to their own darkness, because there was less distraction and we had to focus more on the things that we maybe looked away from, that we ignored successfully in the past. But there's always a mental price that we pay for this. It will be impossible to exclude the mental health conversation from running a community like Errorgrid, where our art is so impacted by our mental abilities, by our mental health, by the status of our mental health. And so I wanted to address it here quickly, because I consider this conversation very, very essential, and it is actually at the forefront of everything that Errorgrid stands for, as I'm not really interested in releasing music primarily. I'm interested in the essence of art, in expressing our truth, but also in helping us remove mental obstacles that might prevent us from really creating our most beautiful and more impactful art. So it is a conversation that we have to have. It's a conversation that you cannot exclude from true music making. And one of the key conversations I have around art and mental health is the one of standards. I see a lot of people struggle with self-worthiness, with validation from the outside, because they feel that their art does not amount to what they see in their idols or in their, in the artists that stand next to them. So they think that they actually are worth less because their music doesn't sound like someone else. And by the same token, also there is this imaginary line, this imaginary system, this imaginary yardstick of genres and of types of music, where we think that we have to amount to them, we have to do right by them. But I want to invite you again to understand that while our reality is created by our mental system, after all, it is our mind and our mindset that creates the thoughts that become emotions, words, actions, behavior, and eventually our identity in the world, and with it the entirety of our reality. We have to understand that if we live with our gaze stuck on the outside first and bring that back inside to become creative, to be creative with it, then our art will only be the reflection of the world and not something truly innate, something truly original, something specific to us. And that is a very important conversation to have, because music is a very, very personal and abstract art form. So it is one of the best ways that I know that I'm capable of expressing something that lies within me. But during all these times in my life where I faced darkness, mental darkness, I felt like it was always because I turned to the outside to find gratification and validity. And you might shake your head and say that this is not the case for you, but it's very easy to fall prey to that system, because it's really traditional education and what our parents taught us that leads us to fall for the shiny objects, the boons, the prizes, the accolades, and the gratification of the world. I'm just here to tell you that music cannot be one of those outlets. Music has to be something that's sourced within and that then finds its way out in the world. And to make music, just because you expect for the world to have a response or a reaction to it, will always break you mentally. It will always break your art. It will always distract your authenticity. It will always deter you. It will always deter you from bringing out what that genuine voice in you has to say. And that is one of the key aspects and reasons why I started Errorgrid, was to help people tap into that principle where you become more and more detached from what the world expects from you, and you become more and more intentional in your doings. It's a little bit like I see art more as a subtractive process where you remove the things that stand in the way to bring out, to make visible what's underneath, as opposed to adding clay to something that then starts to exist from scratch. I think whatever genuine art has to say is already there. We just have to use our talents and our skills in bringing it out. But mental health gets in the way. Mental health is the oppressor. It's the imposter that tells you that you have no right, you have no permission, you're not good enough, you will never amount to it. And so then we don't do it, or we do it to a lesser degree. And it's important that you face that demon. I say demon because it's not really a demon, of course. It is you that is that imposter, because it's you who allows these stories to take place, to take hold, to take seat, to take residence inside of you. And so it's also for you to detect them, and then not just to let them go, to stop holding on to them. That is the power of an artist. That's what makes an artist truly powerful. And I like those people who show up every day in their studio, in their workshops, in their art space, and do nothing but staring at the blank canvas. Because what they actually do is they channel the inner voice to come out, to free itself from all this smoke and dust and debris and the things and the rubble that we have poured on top of it. And it is only then that they then grab the pens and the pencils and the brush or the keyboard or the computer, because now they're free to create. And I think in the whole conversation around mental health in art communities, this is something that we have to address. It's not just about the common topics that we have. Those are important too, like conversations around trauma and conditioning, because they are the stories that stand in our way. But just to recognize the importance of art, not just as a privilege, but as a birthright, because in the end, everything we do with true conviction, fervor, and that channels our wildness, our truth into the world, is art. It doesn't matter whether you're a pianist or you're a cook or you're just someone who loves to read. Your doings are the expression of a truth, but mental health gets in the way. It is the imposter that you allow to be in the way. So to address that, to stand still, to find silence, to make space for the mind, to project on your inner screen what it is that is actually happening within you right now. What are the thoughts that you are upkeeping, that you're maintaining, and what emotions are attached to them. And then to work through them slowly in realizing that it is your decision that matters, and that becoming free of those stories will make you not just a better artist, it will make you an artist of your own art, of your own discipline. And I think once you do that, you will become free of idols that influence you. You will actually become free of influence. You will become enriched with inspiration, but you will let go of influence. And then next time you sit down, whether it's a computer or a piano or a cello, your hand will be guided by your intuition and not by an expectation of the world. So nurture these conversations and be good to yourself.